Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Carruthers, and I want to do a quick intro video, kind of explaining a little bit about my past, my background, and what I like to do as we enter into this unique 2020-2021 school year. So I was originally born in Edinburgh, Scotland, in the United Kingdom, and it wasn't until I was 9 years old that we moved all the way from Scotland to Laconia, New Hampshire. And that is where I grew up. I attended Laconia High School and graduated in 1997. I was a four-year varsity soccer captain, or four-year varsity soccer player, two-year captain, MVP 1997 season, as well as the 1997 state math champion from Laconia. After graduating Laconia, I went to the University of New Hampshire, where I entered as a math major. Quickly found out that the upper level math was not any interest to me. So I switched over to kinesiology sport studies and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in 2002. From there, my continual learning journey continued. I left New Hampshire, went down to Texas, and enrolled in Texas State University for a year at graduate school and looking at sport management in terms of athletic training. It's not a big fan of Texas. There was no real sports scene. The weather was atrocious, 103 days of 100 plus temperature in a row. So in 2004, came back up, enrolled at Southern New Hampshire University in the sport management program, but this time with a sports business focus. Took some time off in between before enrolling at Plymouth State University, where I got my Master's of Education with a certification of athletic administration. And then in 2019, I finished up at Southern New Hampshire University with what's called a CAGS, a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies, and received my principal certification. So there are some of the logos, the Bobcats, the Penmen, and the Panthers. So as you can see, I'm a lifelong learner. At the beginning of this summer, I applied for doctoral program, so I'm awaiting to hear that, but I'm looking to go get my doctorate in educational research. Just a bit about my teaching past. I didn't start teaching until 2010. My first 5 years, I taught at Laconia High School. The summer of 2015, I was fortunate enough to be hired at Concord High School, and I've been here for the last 5 years. Taught all of these courses. So whether you are in Algebra 1 or Advanced Pre-Calculus, hopefully we build a common relationship that you feel like you can come back even if I'm not your teacher in the future for a little extra help. And we've established that we have a good working relationship and can continue supporting you throughout your journey through high school and beyond. So a little about my personal life. I was married in July of 2008. And in August 2008, I was involved in a car accident that drastically changed my life. On my way to work one morning, I caught the back passenger's rear tire on some sand in the side of the road and flipped the vehicle once into an embankment that left me paralyzed and wheelchair bound. I was flown down to a spinal cord injury center in Atlanta, Georgia, called the Shepherd Center, where I spent 3 months, 2 months as an inpatient, 1 month as an outpatient. And I basically had to learn how to do everything again. So this was me in a power wheelchair, strapped in with a monitor. I couldn't move my hands, my arms, or anything at the time, and have regained function over the 10 years plus since. So one of the things I really take to heart is the fact that before the injury, I could do 10,000 things, and after the injury, I can do only 9,000. So why am I going to waste my time focusing on the 1,000 things I cannot do when there are 9,000 things I can do? And it's really the motto I've taken to my life, and become involved in some of the adaptive sports for wheelchair users. Northeast Passage is a great vehicle for this. So if there's anybody interested in recreational therapy, let me know. I'll try and hook you up with an internship. Where I play wheelchair rugby, which we'll talk a little bit about more in a second. Kayaking, water skiing, downhill skiing, and most recently lacrosse. So I'm a very passionate sports fan and athlete, and have maintained that through Northeast Passage since the accident. So this is last year's schedule. These are all the places we traveled as part of the Northeast Passage Wildcat rugby team. Playing wheelchair rugby before our season was cut short due to COVID. We were supposed to go down to DC at the beginning of March, but that tournament was postponed for obvious reasons. We're hoping to get back up and playing this year. We're looking at a January 1st start date this year for an abridged season. I did want to show you a quick video about what wheelchair rugby is, some of the aspects of it, and some of the team part of it. So that's a bit about my sport. If you saw me, I'm number 15 in that video. A couple of good plays in there. But you saw the full contact, people falling out of the chair onto the court. That's what I love about it. That it's competitive, full contact, and a definite team sport. In terms of myself, I just celebrated my 12-year anniversary with my wife. I like to do some crazy things now and then to keep my kids entertained. So dyeing the mustache, dyeing the beard. You can see how exasperated she gets. I do have 2 children. My oldest is Allison. She's 7 years old. She started 2nd grade this year. She is awesome, fun-loving, outgoing, the sweetest kid you'll ever meet. Just loves playing outside and having great craft time and reading books. And her younger brother, my youngest son Jackson, is 5. He is very rambunctious, with no regard for his own safety, sprints around like crazy. Your typical boy who wants to fight and wrestle and get into all sorts of mischief. And my personal interests, as I said, I'm a huge sports fan. Growing up in the UK, I've been a Liverpool soccer fan. Fortunate enough to be champions this year of the Premier League, champions of Europe last year. When I was down at Texas State, I got involved in supporting college football. It's a completely different thing. I became an LSU fan while I was down there. And this year, national champion. So it's been a pretty good year for me and my teams. I'm also a big fan of all the New England teams and go to a ton of concerts. Kenny Chesney is my favorite. We've been for the last 16 years and have tickets for next year's show, as this year's show again was postponed due to the unfortunateness of the COVID. So that's a little bit about me. Hope you guys enjoyed that inside look. We'll get to learn more about myself, and you guys will get to learn more about each other as we go through the year. But I always like to start out with a little bit about who I am so you can get a different sense of the classroom teacher versus the human being.